Hi, my name's Trinity Inouye. For this assignment, I conducted an interview with a local professional who works in the substance abuse and recovery field. The individual I interviewed is Amy Mitchell, and she is a substance abuse counselor at an inpatient treatment center and has been for 4 years. She earned a bachelor's of science degree in psychology, and then completed a Master of Science in clinical mental health counseling. And then in addition to this education, she's a licensed professional counselor as well as a licensed alcohol and drug counselor. I wanted to interview Amy because her career closely aligned with my own career goals, as I'm going to be finishing my bachelor's in psychology this year, and then shortly after that having a baby, and then I'm moving on to furthering my education with the hopes to eventually work with individuals struggling with substance use disorder. The first question I asked Amy was about her job duties. With this question, she explained that every day is different, but her responsibility to clients, which is beginning and maintaining a recovery journey, those responsibilities never change. She explained that client interaction normally begins with conducting intake assessments, so she's able to better understand the client's history, whether that's like their family history, their relationships, as well as their past and current mental health concerns, and of course the substance use history and their overall goals for treatment. Once she has a good idea of a client's history, she's able to use the information gained to create a specific treatment plan that addresses that client's specific needs. And then in addition to this, Amy also conducts individual counseling sessions and group therapy. She said that these sessions can look like teaching and identifying coping skills, identifying triggers, processing emotions, and developing relapse prevention strategies. Another important part of her job that she mentioned was client exit from the inpatient program. She said she helps create discharge plans that can connect clients with further outpatient counseling, support groups, community resources, and any other recovery services that are deemed needed. She also mentioned that group therapy is a wonderful tool for individuals, as they can learn they're not alone in their struggles, and they can also learn how to support one another through their shared experiences. Amy mentioned another very important part of her job was working with her treatment team, because collaboration between physicians, nurses, case managers, and other counselors ensure that a client will receive the best comprehensive care. The next question I asked Amy was what she found most fulfilling about working in the substance abuse and recovery field. And with that, she said the most rewarding part of her career is watching people who were hopeless find their hope. She said that a lot of clients enter the treatment believing they're failures. They failed their families, their communities, and, most importantly, themselves. The clients often feel discouraged about the future and ashamed about where they are currently. She mentioned that not any two clients are the same when it comes to their failure or their success, so it can be incredibly rewarding to watch a person begin to believe in themselves and their potential. She said being able to witness in real time the different small victories, like a client finally opening up in therapy, are the reasons that she keeps doing what she does. Hearing this answer to this question served as a reminder to me, like, why I'm interested in becoming a counselor, because I also want to help people who feel hopeless and unsupported realize that they don't have to be either of those things, and they deserve healthier lives. The next question I asked was, what is the most challenging part of working as a substance abuse counselor? and she explained that there are many hard parts of her job, but the hardest part is understanding that recovery is not just straight and simple. She mentioned that she can, on many occasions, see the same client, like a client that, finished treatment, come into inpatient again, because many clients experience relapse after treatment. She mentioned that that's a tough part of the job because you can give support, all the treatment tips, a number of outside resources, but ultimately, like, you can't choose to make the healthy decisions for that person, because choosing recovery is a decision someone has to make for themselves. With that, she also mentioned how emotionally draining it can be to work with people who have experienced such traumas, and how hearing difficult story after difficult story can, be extremely difficult to continue hearing, most especially if the professional is not taking care of themselves. And this is when she mentioned how crucial a role self-care plays in this profession, as burnout is a real thing. She said that while it's important to empathize with your clients, you must learn how to separate personal and professional life, as it's not beneficial to anyone to carry the trauma of clients. The next question I asked Amy was how she continues to grow professionally, and to that she responded that learning never stops in this career. While she attends courses to continue her education and maintain her licensure, as well as stay informed about new research and treatment methods, she also attends different conferences, some recommended by her workplace, others she just seeks out on her own, as well as workshops and different specialized training programs that can relate to substance abuse and recovery counseling. Another way she mentioned she continues to grow in this career is through conversations with colleagues more experienced than herself, as well as through clinical supervision, by talking about the difficult cases that can help become a stronger counselor while also making sure that the client receives the best care, is what was said. This especially stood out to me because it makes you realize that earning a bachelor's degree is only the first step in the endless number of steps it takes to becoming a capable counselor. I also, in the back of my mind, was thinking, how do you have the time to attend all of these workshops, see clients, and have a personal life? I did not ask that question, but I definitely was thinking it. Because I am not a professional right now, and I have trouble balancing. The last question I asked Amy was if she had any recommendations she would give to an individual wanting to enter this career field. And she responded with, gain as much real-world experience as possible. She said talk to everyone. She said as far as professional setting experience recommendations, she would do as many internships and volunteer hours in a treatment setting as possible. And she also mentioned that just getting a job while in school that's in the behavioral health field is a wonderful way to gain experience. She definitely emphasized, though, that real-world experience is where it is at, because you not only gain communication skills, you learn how to be professional, and most of all, you gain confidence. She expressed the importance of listening. She said, yes, while you should talk to everyone, make sure you're listening too. She said, building trust is one of the most important things in a client relationship, and if someone feels heard without being judged, the foundation for trust can develop. And the last recommendation Amy had for me was to learn how to take care of my own well-being, be it physical, emotional, mental, spiritual. She said to always make time for activities that bring peace and reduce my stress. She said managing all of that will make it easier as a professional to maintain boundaries and seek out supervision when needed. After conducting this interview, I learned that substance abuse counseling can be highly challenging but deeply impactful. This career requires growth throughout its entirety. You never stop growing, you never stop learning. This career is emotionally demanding, and it requires an individual to be compassionate as well as have a perpetual desire to help others. Not only is it emotionally demanding, but mentally as well, as learning never stops. Through classes and workshops and licensure maintenance, you truly never stop learning. While all of this does scare me a little bit, it also confirms that I want to be there for people in their challenging times and make a positive difference in their lives. With my path to this career pretty much just getting started, I know I still have many challenges ahead of me, but hearing of the prize that helping people in recovery can be, my desire to continue pursuing this career is still strong. This interview was definitely informative, as it gave me a better insight of what working in an inpatient treatment center is really like, especially on a daily basis. And I also enjoyed hearing the different responsibilities that counselors have, as I really didn't have a strong understanding, especially on like how much collaboration takes place between team members. Overall, this interview reminded me that recovery is a journey that takes a different shape for all of the different people, and ultimately it isn't about just stopping the addiction, but about rebuilding a life. Thank you for taking time to watch my presentation on this interview.